satellite's broadcast.
One thing that is quite undeniable about Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 is that it's an ambitious step up over the form and quality of the first two games in the series. Gone are the linear levels, the straightforward set pieces, and in their place is a big open world set in a war-torn version of Georgia. You're a lone wolf deep behind enemy lines, taking on missions and trying to defuse a situation that could easily spiral into a new Cold War. First things first, the kind of elephant in the room, the video that you're watching is not particularly great. The game is still deep in development with a good few months of polish, refinement and optimization to go before release on April 4th. So simply put, the game did not run too well on the PC I was playing it on, and the frame rate is all over the shop basically. But I would expect that to improve rather rapidly in the final throes of development over the next 3 to 4 months. As for the game itself, your best friend in all of this is going to be your little drone. It's this little ball-like thing that lets you get an eye up in the sky and spot and mark all the enemies in an area. At the start of the game, it's going to be quite limited. It can only fly so far away from you, the camera isn't advanced enough to spot people at long distance, and you're always going to run the risk of it being seen by the enemy when you get too close. But over time you get the opportunity to upgrade it. You can increase its flying range, you can add a better camera, modify it with camouflage, the ability to hack CCTV cameras, and so much more. But it can't do everything for you. Being a sniper in this game isn't just about shooting enemies from long range, but also about being an all-round elite soldier. You're an expert in subterfuge and stealth, able to sneak into a compound, get the job done, and get out without really being noticed. You can basically be a ghost, as in the game's title. But when things do go wrong, there's the other part of the title, you get to be a warrior. It's kind of cheesy the way that CI games are playing up these three parts of the title as three pillars of the game, but it makes sense. You're an all-round action hero, it's just that you're a single man and there's hundreds of separatists who will happily try and hunt you down. So you're ideally going to want to try and be stealthier rather than more action-oriented. Naturally, going from a linear to an open world design, the AI has had to be completely rewritten for a very different task. So they still patrol around the world, but they have to go in much broader patterns and cover a much greater area, seeing as you can come at an objective from a lot of different angles now. But if you mess up and you're detected or a body is spotted, they'll start to send out search parties to try and hunt you down, and they're going to be quite quick to figure out roughly where you are, at which point they'll start to pepper the area with inaccurate long-range gunfire and mortar shells, which is always lovely. You'll probably want to get out of there quite quickly and find a new vantage point to snipe from. Getting around the world brings up this more Far Cry vibe for me, but in a much more serious and straight-laced fashion than Ubisoft's over-the-top series of games. Setting off from your safe houses, which could actually be more of a cave than a house, you hop into a 4x4 and the local radio station starts blaring and you get to hoon around the countryside basically. Fast travel is always another option if you get sick of this. However, it's a much more structured game than Far Cry, it feels. You take on missions from this ruggedized computer that turns into a tablet PC, which is rather surprisingly useful for hacking everything in the world, and you then set off to tackle an enemy outpost. But there's not the same kind of free-form animal hunting or the kind of non-objective outposts to try and capture yourself. It's not a play for territory, in other words, you're taking on missions. That change of tone isn't really a bad thing though, and while it kind of feels like it's a by-the-numbers Tom Clancy techno-thriller at times, this is actually a genre and setting that's taken a bit of a back seat in recent years. More important for the game is how big a step up in quality this is for CI games and the Sniper Ghost Warrior series as a whole. Say it quietly for now, but if it all comes together, this game could actually be kind of good. We'll have to wait until April to find out for sure. Thanks as ever for watching, and as per usual there is a thumbs up button and a subscribe button that I would love for you to click on. I hope you've enjoyed this sneak peek at Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, even with the shaky frame rate of the video, and we will hopefully see you next time. Goodbye!